Hi, you join me on mission in eastern Bulgaria. My name is Ian and I'm an elder at Emmanuel Church, Durham in the UK. And I've been leading a team of 13 people from our church over here for a week and a half of mission. The team we have is a fantastic team. It is made up of 3 generations of people. We have a couple who are old enough to be my parents, and we have some students with us who are young enough to be my children. It's a wonderful demonstration of how everyone is able to go on mission. We're here working alongside a friend of one of our church members who is a church planter along the Silk Road. He has a vision for the Turkic-speaking peoples along the Silk Road from Eastern Europe running through even to the border of China. And so far, he is training up church planters and has planted in excess of 350 churches along the Silk Road. And we've been working in association with him, being led by him into all the areas we've been going into. The team has visited 12 villages in this week, and we've been able to speak to people. We've been using treasure hunting to find our treasure, and we've been prayer walking around the villages as well. And we've found many people open to hear the message of Jesus. And we've given out many new tracts, Christian literature, and also some gospel extracts as well. And God has really led us to people of peace into those places. And we've really found a generosity from families as we've gone to meet them. We often come away with sweets, with bottles of Coke or fresh produce from these families who are generously wanting to give something to us as we share with them.
Hello. This evening we are in a gypsy camp in eastern Bulgaria. We have just arrived for the evening to play some football, do some nails and hair of young girls, but really just to share Jesus' light. Already we've had small children run up to the van and ask for prayer. So this is what our mission trip has been. It's really just been changing the spiritual atmosphere and spreading God's love and light to these poorest communities in Europe.
So what I've learned from God on this trip and what I'll take away is that a lifelong mission of following Jesus is not just for the selected few radicals, but actually following Jesus is an everyday mission. So whether you're called to the nations, whether you're called to stay in a village in England or in the workplace, that is your mission field.
So I've learnt that learning the native language is really important when hoping to make relationships with people of different cultures who don't know Jesus, and that for me learning a language is much easier when you're actually with the people in the country. And I'm going to take home with me the fact that to research unreached people groups is really important when I need to intentionally pray for them and see where God might lead me to go in the future.
I have learned that going out on the mission field is messy, and how we think it's going to look is often not how it's going to look, and you see some things that you really don't want to see, and the truth of sharing the gospel.
I have learnt about what mission actually looks like in practice. I think it is easy, and coming on this trip I definitely had a different view of it, that it's fast paced, you're engaging all the time, it's like confrontational, but it seems like the kingdom of God and mission is much more like breathing in and breathing out and living life by God's principles, which includes sharing life with people and his love with people and his joy with people and sharing his gospel with people.
I think the main thing that God's taught me being out here is that the church really is global, and I've really seen and worked with brothers and sisters out here that really care about God's kingdom and spreading God's kingdom, and that really hit home working with them and doing mission alongside them with vulnerable people out here in Bulgaria.
On this trip I've learned the importance of seeking Jesus' face always, that he goes before us, behind us, beside us, And I've really learned the value of just digging into that and relying on His Spirit and the importance of team. God opens doors through team. If you can't do something, someone else is going to pick it up. And Jesus knows the gaps and where there needs to be a filling of a place. And God allows you to drop things or take on something else, what He's laid on your heart, because He knows the world, He knows what's happened. So Jesus is really paving the way for mission, and He goes before us. He is already being crucified, and we are just being crucified with Him. So it's been a great experience to learn how to intertwine that with the importance of team, resilience and prayer, going through tough situations with God and really worshipping throughout it all.
I'm excited to take back what I've learned about Muslim culture in this country, to take it back to our own situation at home and to use it in our outreach work into various groups of different people across the city, but we do have a lot of refugees and Muslim families as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing that transferred into our context and used for the glory of God.
The biggest encouragement for me on this trip has been seeing how the gospel transcends cultural barriers. I've been amazed at how, as we've gathered to pray and worship and seek the Lord's face each morning, He's then opened doors we couldn't have possibly imagined, even in a different country with a different language. And so I'm excited to take that back to Durham.
I've loved being on this trip, and I've learned a lot about the power of prayer and how prayer is the foundation from which we do evangelism. And I've also been really encouraged by the people's hospitality, and I'll definitely be taking that back to the UK with me.
What I'm taking back is a much wider perspective in what I came with, and more of God's heart for what I have seen out here.
And so I think what I'll be bringing back is that same approach. I think here it's been difficult not speaking Turkish. You want to talk to people, but it's very hard to communicate. Whereas I think going back, and then feels like the reins have been taken off, and I can communicate with everyone. And so I think just watching how, and Miriam and the family and the team live here, and the way that God uses them, and the stories that God has brought out of their life, just by living in this very ordinary but kingdom of God incredible way. So that's kind of what I've learned and we'll be taking back.
I'll take back to the UK a new passion and a deeper desire and urgency to spread the kingdom of God and spreading the good news of Jesus Christ. Having both seen people out here who really need Jesus, but also having seen brothers and sisters out here who have a real passion and urgency to share the kingdom, and have also spoken to us about the need for the church back in the UK to step up in how we serve the Lord and how we seek after Jesus.
They're a passionate bunch of crazy, wild guys and girls in love with Jesus, and I am waiting to see them unleashed, and boy will they turn the world upside down. So I'm expecting good things in the near future. So they have done such a great job here, and I'm totally in love with all of them. Thanks for coming.